I'm honored and pleased indeed that Ms. Sadia Sustin has asked me to be a keynote speaker at this event. The launching of the book, New Dawn for Children, Arise and Shine. And indeed, I very much believe in what Sadia Hussein is doing. I've known Sadia Hussein for quite a while now, and the Austrian Embassy is supporting her activities as good as we can. If we look at the content of the book, we see that it gives a basis for the child to know the child's rights. And it gives a first idea on how these rights could be enforced in case it would be necessary. This is an educational effort. And it means in turn that these children are going to know the rights of the child once they are grown up. And they will ultimately implement the existing Kenyan laws and regulations on an individual basis as parents. If you look at the text more closely, there are some very useful practical hints on what to do. That is very refreshing in my eyes, as I'm accustomed as a diplomat to rather theoretical discussions of delicate subjects. Thus, I believe that this book is a good basis for educating children and youth so that they have a good basis for good decisions in their lives. The book provides information, but also supports the empowerment of children and youth so that the decisions taken by the individual can put into practice. Ladies and gentlemen, more than 40% of the Kenyan population are children and youth of less than 15 years. These young people constitute the future of the country. Their protection is guaranteed by the Kenyan Constitution and consequently by a number of Kenyan laws. Ladies and gentlemen, the Austrian Development Cooperation focuses on the support of children and youth and has, for example, contributed 2.5 million euros into the regional UNFPA UNICEF joint program to eliminate female genital mutilation. Austria has thus made a considerable contribution to the fight against FGM, and we are determined to support all efforts of the Kenyan people to eradicate this cruel tradition in line with the Kenyan government's priorities. The Austrian Development Cooperation intervenes where children are most in need. In Siaya County, a mother and child nutrition program was supported, and pregnant women and their newborns are now better nourished, and the babies weigh more than before, at the corresponding age, of course. Austria supports projects for children and youth in Nairobi as well. For example, the famous Mukuru Promotion Center, run by the even more famous Irish nun, Sister Mary Kylene, but also the Rescue Dada Center that takes care of street girls from the age of 8 until the age of 16, gives them shelter, medical treatment, education, and finally, a place for them to have a better future. Ladies and gentlemen, standing up for children's rights has been and will continue an important objective of Austria's foreign and development policy. Austria is actively engaged in international fora to promote and develop further legal instruments to protect children. We fought for and achieved better protection of children in armed conflicts, prevention of violence against children in custody, and of course, we fight against child trade at all levels. In my own country, we have incorporated the most essential rights of the child as laid down in the convention in the Austrian Constitution, in the form of a constitutional law on children's rights effective since February 2011. The explicit incorporation of children's rights in the Constitution indeed constitutes a milestone in legal development, the legal significance of which cannot be overestimated, as it also serves as the purpose of building awareness in the population. The best interest principle in favor of the child, as stipulated in the Child Rights Convention, has been awarded constitutional status. I quote, "In all measures concerning children, whether undertaken by public or private bodies, the best interest of the child shall be a primary consideration," unquote. Austria thus attaches high importance to the implementation of its international obligations and monitoring by international human rights bodies. There was a review of the CRC committee in January 2020 and the UPR, Universal Periodic Review, before the UN Human Rights Council in January 21, so 2 months ago. Austria attaches great importance to the recommendation of these monitoring bodies. And we strive to implement these recommendations, aiming for the continuous improvement of the protection of human rights, especially the rights of the children. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now looking forward to hearing more about where Kenya stands in this context, and we will try to support any effort for the right of the child and the youth in this wonderful country. Sadia Hussein, once again, congratulations to your book. Thank you for your attention. Asante sana.
A round of applause for him. A round of applause. As he has said, the book is teaching us about what children go through. She has gone, he knows Sadia from a long time. Her challenges, the challenges she faced when she was writing the books. And also, I liked what Sadia said about how also men or boys are responsible for also the FGM, because if boys can say, my sister, my pride, if every boy can say that, my sister, my pride, then I think we can end FGM completely. So right now, we have to give our views about the book, since we have this forum here so that we can say what we think of the book, what are our views, take a topic of the book, speak about it. If you have a poem also, you can say a tongue twister, okay? So let's speak to this young man. How are you? What's your name? It's Abdullah. Okay. So Abdullah, I wanted to speak on a topic like child marriage, or you can also speak about even COVID. How is it affecting the FGM? And try to outline your preferences and such. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Mr. Abdullahi from Tana River County, and I'm the principal. Sadia Hussein, the school Sadia Hussein just mentioned. I'm a champion secondary school. The day I received a call from Sadia inviting me for a book launch, I knew that it is a book for children, and I inquired about her, whether my guess is true, and indeed it was true. And congratulations to Sister Sadia. The book, we will take it to the villages. I live in one of the villages, Bangal in Tana River County, where FGM practice is on alarming rate. They do it, and I want to remind Sadia and the international partners that these days, our parents, this change of tact by our parents, where when schools are closed for holiday, you will see young girls being lured to go for a holiday into they call the camel bombers, where they are enticed. We go, we drink camel milk, we enjoy ourselves, and in the real sense, they are taken there for an FGM practice for the cat, because these days it is they have noted that the cat is illegal, and they fear doing it in the villages. And I'm shocked to hear the news about Nairobi practicing FGM. I thought the practice was only in the villages. So these days, they take young girls, they lure them, they say, let's go to holiday, we go to Badia, or where the camels and goats and cattle are reared, we go drink milk, we enjoy ourselves, and by the time they're coming back, when the schools are open, they are different from the person they were when they left the town. That is it. I'm bringing that to your attention. And kindly, in the process of fighting for women's rights and girl-child empowerment, we also forgot boy child, because boy child is also suffering in the process of boy child circumcision. In my village, there was an instance where an old man was trying to circumcise 1 day old boy child. 1 day old boy child. And in the process, in an attempt to prove, they believe the sharper the razor, the less the pain. So they believe that kind of practice in an attempt of cutting. The old man cut together with the testicles, and the boy succumbed through bleeding. As much as we are fighting FGM, sincerely, my humble request is that we also fight for boy child circumcision. On what grounds? That it should be done in the dispensary. The best way, where they will do it the right way, and in case of any complications or bleeding, there's a doctor to attend to the boy. That is it. Thank you, Sadiq Sena. Congratulations for the book.
A round of applause for him. A round of applause. That was really amazing. He has also talked about the story of the boy who was cut and then he bled. But because of this book, which will be empowering children of our age, I'm pretty sure the children will know their rights and what they're also supposed to do when this act is enforced to them, right? So right now I'm getting more views. How are you?
Thank you.
What's your name?
My name is Catherine Diakono.
Which organization do you come from?
Menet FGM.
So can you say something about FGM, child marriage, anything, and then outline your preferences for your views about the book also, right?
Thank you. My name, as I've said, is Catherine Diakono from an organization called Menet FGM. We work with men because most of the time it has been highlighted that men have been left out in this fight. Many cases, people have seen men are the consumers. So we keep them informed, and our motto is empowering the girl child while keeping the boy child informed. And I'm happy today to be part of this new dawn for our children, both boys and girls. When everyone of us knows their right, they will know what they expect, what they don't expect. Because let us say, for instance, a child who is supposed to be cut or circumcised knows they are not supposed to be circumcised, knows the effect of FGM, they know about the law, what the law says, the act of FGM, the act of the children. Mostly these children, they are around 10 years, 15 years, and now they will say no to FGM, they will say no to early marriage, because many a time you have found that even the early marriages, they are organized by the older people. So I'm happy today for what Sadia has done. I know Sadia, she's very passionate when it comes to the matters of fighting for human rights. And congratulations, our sister Sadia. We have worked with her before in this fight in our team. She's one of us. As we start this journey towards our children, we have been doing it. But before we didn't have like a book. Now what I've done is that we make sure this book reaches to the grassroots, I mean. For instance, one of the key people who can spread the message very fast, they are the teachers. You see, teachers are with our children most of the time. When the teacher has this knowledge, if you're with children, you Honorable Jabi, the teacher will, I mean, the child will say, and when a teacher says something, it is like a rule. This message goes to our teachers are empowered. It will be to end FGM, to end child marriages, and all the vices concerning children faster, and that will be a good for us all.
Let's give her. She basically has said that we need to speak to the teachers because basically students spend more time with the teachers than even with the parents. Because you'll find that we only close school at April, August, and then the November and the December. The rest of the time, mostly if you're in a boarding school, you'll basically find yourself in school most of the times, surrounded by teachers, people to mentor you, surrounded by people who are supposed to give you knowledge, and mostly even not your parents. So if we talk to the teachers and tell them that they need to put these rights and these laws to end this child marriage and FGM, I think it will be accomplished. How are you? You're doing great. I want your views about the book, about any topic. You're good for that? Okay.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Maimuna Abdel. I am a journalist by profession. I've hosted Sadia. First of all, I would like to say congratulations to Sadia for the effort that she's making to end FGM in our community, especially. So the first time that I hosted Sadia, she told me about the book, and we didn't talk much about it because she said, come for the lunch so that you get to know about it. I'll say this is just a wake-up call for our children, both boys and girls. And since the book will be supplied to the schools, I hope so. I think it will just be an eye-opening for the girls and the boys to know their rights, which they didn't. Mostly they don't know their rights, especially when it comes to FGM. So I'd like to say that. Thank you.
That's amazing. A round of applause for her, please. So we are trying to connect the CEO, founder of Mtoto News, Jennifer Kaberi. So in just a few minutes, we'll be able to access her. So here she is. Just a few minutes and then we connect.
Thank you. Thank you, Omar. Thank you, Omar, and congratulations, Sadia. This is an amazing step, and it's good to have fellow activists working on this a resource for children to be able to use to know how to defend themselves. I've gone through the book myself, and I love the way it has been divided. As it speaks, it shows what are your rights, and when you are being defined, what right is being violated. And for me, that is a good step. It's a huge step towards empowering children to be able to speak for themselves. So for me, I want to say congratulations to Sadia, and we are glad as Mtoto News to be able to partner with you in your efforts in this work of advocating for children, advocating for young people, advocating for girls, and saying no to FGM. And we pray that we are going to see end of FGM by the year 2022, as the president said. So So I just want to say congratulations and thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to be able to support you, and congratulations again. Thank you so much.
Applause, please. We are waiting for Honorable Mahassan again. Oh, she's here. Yeah, this is Honorable Mahassan. She's here to talk about Parliament and government efforts on children's rights. She's one of our panelists, so let's welcome her. Let's welcome her again. Okay, it's not Rehema. Yeah, I'm sorry for the mistake. It's not Rehema. Let her introduce herself.
Introduce me.
Oh yeah, sorry again for the mistake. It's Honorable JB Kilimo. Yeah, Honorable JB Kilimo. Let's welcome her again officially.
Sorry, first of all, my apologies. I finished what I was doing. We were launching a toolkit for reporting on FGM. It was being done online, just like the way we have people watching us now online. So you want me to talk on what? Did you say what? Laws?
Oh yeah.
What's assistant? Okay. Assistant chief. Okay, assistant chief.
Yeah, guys, she's Rehema Hassan. She's Honorable Rehema Hassan. Yes, Assistant Chief Guest Remarks. Yeah, she's Rehema Hassan. I had mistaken. Yes.
Thank you. Good morning. As you're told, my name is Rehema Hassan. I'm the county MP Tana River, the women rep Tana River County. First of all, let me apologize for coming late. But as you know, waheshimiwas ever committed, so many issues to handle here and there. But this is a very important thing for me. And in support of my colleague, Honorable Sadia Hussein, I said better late than never. So I'm very sorry for coming late. Well, let me start by appreciating Mheshimiwa Sadia Hussein for the good job she's doing. Where she comes from, there are so many challenges, especially for women. And this beautiful young girl, young lady, has really tried to build or to bring the face of a woman in Tana River, because she's always there for them. She's fought for them in so many ways. She has really defended us. You know, in Tana River, because of our culture. But despite all those challenges and negative attitudes from our people, from our communities, but she stood firm. And that's why in 2017, when we were contesting, by the way, we contested with her. I led, she followed. So I was number one, she was number two in 2017 general elections for the position of women rep. But one funny thing with us, during our campaigns, we had agreed with Mheshimiwa Sadia Hussein, if any of us wins, then we should work together and support each other. And that's why I think she can bear me witness. Since I took position, I've always supported her. We've always worked together. Even when she was launching the other book for the anti-FGM, I stood with her. We could exchange so many things. So I think we are working together to date. And she's also supporting me, not only her supporting me, me supporting her, she's also supporting me. She's the only woman among the only candidates in 2017 who agreed that I won the position. And so I'm her women rep. So she supports me. She has never talked negative about me in platforms. And most of the time she defends me. Most of the time she defends me. And that's why I feel I should also support her at all costs. On this book, she had told me that she was doing this. I still agreed and said we'll travel together in the course to make sure your journey becomes a success. And today, here she is. Congratulations, Mheshimiwa. To our children in Tana River, I know this book, it's a very important book for us. I know our children will learn a lot from this. And I believe whatever is in here is going to assist our children and our people of Tana River, because our children go through negative can I say negative things like now the issue of FGM that affects our kids, even in performance. The issue that is addressed here, the issue of rape and all that, all the rights and all that. So it's a very important thing. It's a very important book. And I think I'm going to carry some with me, Mheshimiwa, as we agreed, to go and distribute to our people. They need this book. Our people really need this book. I just happened to flip through on some few issues when we were discussing with Mheshimiwa, and that's what sent me to say that I'll buy some. The children's rights, very important. It's very important to our communities. So with this, I think now that I've come late, and as we are used to politics, and here we don't want to talk about politics, I'll just, I think I have not much to say, but to support the cause and to make sure that everything goes to success, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Another round of applause, please. Another round of applause, a decent one. Another one, and another one, and another one. Thank you so much. That was Honorable Rehema Hassan. So right now, I'd love to introduce now officially Honorable J.B. Kilimo to give us a motivation, talk about the book, her life, her experience, and everything. Welcome. A round of applause as she comes, please. A round of applause. Thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you once again for having me, Honorable Rehema, First Lady from Marsabit County. I consider Marsabit County my second home because that is our migration path as a Marakwet community. Everybody says we came through some places, so we came through there. Honorable Sadia and my panelists here in front, the upcoming leaders in front here, those present here and those present online. I am humbled to have been invited by Sadia to come and launch this book. When I saw the first copy, it made me just remember that I am my mother's daughter. And it's something that we may never depart from. It reminded me what at times I tell people when we are not doing, maybe when you shrub in your English or Kiswahili, I would say, oh, I'm suffering villagitis, meaning I still have some village in me. And so when I look at this book, it gives us, first of all, it's like story. You know, the stories that our grandmothers used to tell us, our aunties used to tell us about myths. It brings, first of all, that entertaining part of just being a story. And then critically, when you think at it again, then it is not just a story, it's a reality. You know, when we used to be told about the ogs and all that, we know that they never existed, but we believe they existed. So you look at it first and you think it's like that, but critically, with a human perspective, you see, yes, it is talking about real happening in people's lives in some communities. So, first of all, somebody from communities that do not practice FGM makes them understand others. This will reduce issues of stigmatization. You know, like where just gone for that online meeting, and you get somebody and says, when you say you are from this tribe, say, oh, you're Kabila. You know, like that. But it gives a human perspective on how we should treat those who come from these communities who have some harmful cultural practices. I think the next book, Sadia, you get out of FGM because now it's being finished by the end of this year, by 2022. I think the next one should be the challenges for children in non-FGM practicing communities. Yeah, they also have challenges. Yeah, but definitely it brings out the challenges that children go through, and they don't have the voice to say because they don't have knowledge, or they don't know if you say, what will you hold on to? And the issue of the children's rights that you have clearly put over here. And if children read this, they'll be able to now say, oh, so I'm supposed to do this. And it's not just rights as to define. you have brought out so clearly that they should respect the elders in their society. Like if you look at page 8, the message that you have written to all the children. This book is not just by saying, no, you don't want to be cut, you don't want to undergo FGM. Somebody might see that as a defiance, but it's not defying. In page 8, the way, Sadia, you brought it out so clearly, the duties and responsibilities of a child, and then you brought in the issues of the Children's Act. A child grows up knowing, oh, this is my country, it cares about me. Knowing that somebody does care and is concerned about your welfare makes you responsible, actually. And this is really the genesis of us going to have citizens who are proud to be Kenyans, who really feel must defend their country, not from aggression, but defending their country by doing the right things that will really give an end to their country. But you see, D is very good. I liked what D says, preserve and strengthen social and national solidarity. Right now, when you look at the reports in the media, in fact, I think I saw it the other day where I think they were talking about now parenting. Parents don't have enough time to spend with their children. We don't have that time again to sit under the feet of our grandparents and aunties to teach us virtues. But this one now, a child will say, oh, I'm supposed to preserve and strengthen social and national solidarity, and preserve and strengthen the positive cultural values for my community and how I relate with other members of that community, and then being well-mannered. No, these are things that, as we say, no more caning in school. There'll be no need even to put that word anymore, no more caning in school, because a child will have grown up knowing this is what is expected of me, this is how I should behave as a member of this society. On the disability, this one's with disability. Sadia, you have brought it out so nicely that a child doesn't have to pity themselves. And I'm sure as at now, my age and above, we could actually be guilty of not handling children with disability properly. We still feel embarrassed to walk around with somebody with disability. But if that child reads this book and feels, oh, I have a space in society despite my disability, and they'll not even see themselves as disabled, they will just say, I'm able to differently. It's like, so what, you are like that, and so what, I am like this. And that the community cares for them. You've brought in the human part. You've told us to bring in the human part as we relate to these people, because you've said those already living with a form of disability, and some are subjected to FGM. Not just FGM, but other forms of discrimination, not counting them that they have ambitions, but they also have feelings. You've brought in the issues about sign language. A parent reading this, or a child telling their parent about what they have read about people with disability and they have a disabled child, they will be able to walk out of their cocoon of feeling I have a disabled child, and go and seek support because it says a child who is blind can do braille and everything. It's so informative that I look at it, though you have just said the children arise and shine, really, I thought it's also like telling the parents, come out of your stigmatized position where you're feeling, you're pitying yourself that there's nothing I can do, I have this, or feeling you're cursed to have a child with disability. You've given them hope. I don't think I've ever come across a subject that addresses the issues of children with disability in a language that is understood by everyone. So this is very nice. Then, of course, child labor. I think I shared with you that my first funding when I started campaigning against FGM like you, the first people to give me audience were ILO, International Labour Organization. And I looked at the perspective that the community I come from, they take FGM as a rite of passage from childhood to adulthood. So any mother who does not want to do a lot of work sometimes, you subject the children to FGM, then they become your laborers now, because you're telling them, no, you're a grown-up. Go and do this. And you tell them, I'm training you to become a good wife, while you sit and let them do all the chores. Now, sometimes we may just see as though we are training them into grown-up, but you see, you're stealing their time, their childhood time. You're stealing time they should go to school or do their studies. So you brought in all the challenges that children go through, and if the children can be able to stand up for their rights and say, no, I'm not supposed to be doing this, I'm supposed to be in school, then the parent has reached a dead end. When you reach a dead end, you'll either have to look up on how to climb that wall on the other side or turn back and look for another route. This also puts parents on their toes on how they should plan their time well and give time to the children. Despite you being campaigning, agitating for the rights of the girl child, Sadia, I sincerely thank you for bringing in the issues of the boy child. I think this is a subject that we have not given much attention. I think that is the culture that is still hanging behind our backs, that boys have everything, or they know everything, or they're not supposed to be crying, or that they will not undergo any threat or anything. But you have clearly in this book pointed out the challenges and the threats to the boy child. And because the boy child are very important also, just like the way we have said girls are also very important. But going back to creation, you know that they are the seed for creation. And so they are also a very important aspect of our society that we need to ensure that they take their rightful place, or we give them their rightful place. Sometimes I feel that violence is visited on women and girls, especially the physical one and emotional one, by the male gender, because maybe it's a way of expressing themselves, feeling threatened, or they have not really achieved what they want, and they think they can bully that who is perceived to be weaker physically. But surely somebody who is confident, they know their space in society, they know what is expected of them, issues of respecting the female gender, issues of respecting their sisters and mothers, the boy child, you have brought it here, that they could also be. And here you have not eroded the part of the culture which says the boys to protect their sisters. And that's what we are saying. When we say let's stop FGM, we are not saying that the boys should not protect their sisters. As we were growing up, we would say, oh, there's a song that the girls would sing and say, if you are attacked, who will help you? Then you will say, what about my brother? Then you start naming your brothers. Then they'll tell you, and if that brother has gone to herd cows, what will you do? You name all your brothers. So even girls took pride of their brothers. And even if a boy child was trying to threaten a girl, she will say, you wait, I'll tell my brother. And they will also fear and say, ukimgusa huyu, wako na mandugu, manoma kabisa, the brothers will come for you. Sadia, that one you have not eroded here, you brought it out so clearly by saying the boys should respect their sisters' decisions. It is not a weakness for a boy to accept no from a girl. It is a sign of respect. Boys should always protect their sister's dignity. Don't be a perpetrator, but be a protector. So that is what was in our culture. So our parents out there who are still holding on to FGM, we have said, don't cut the girls, but we are not telling you don't stop. We are not telling you not to protect your girls. And in fact, I see that is the essence when I see the anti-FGM board coming with the campaign of men engage or men against FGM. I've seen it on your wall, Sadia. So we are saying, yes, we are challenging the community to what you also believe in, that the male child protects their sisters. That is what I appreciate about the book. Then you went into the areas that we've always been afraid to talk to them. That is talking to the church people, especially the sheikhs, religion. You've talked about religion. And because sometimes these are some of the myths that we would not even want to talk. We may talk about all other myths, but when it comes to something spiritual about our spirit, you will find that you are afraid to talk because of the unknown. So I really appreciate when I look at this book and I just imagine, yes, this is all what all of us saw, but we were never putting in paper. And because we don't have that time again of narrating stories, sitting under and narrating stories, this is the best way to communicate through this book. And so the young man was challenging me over here to tell about my story. I grew up in a village that I don't think there'll be a vehicle ever reaching there because it's very hilly. But when I was in class 4, young man, my teacher talked about FGM. I mean, he talked and there was no book. What about now if a teacher speaks about this? And it goes everywhere. If every school in my time was having a book or had a teacher who had come to Nairobi and told the same story that my teacher who had come to Nairobi talked, maybe we were going to be more Chebikilimos on this side. So my teacher said, oh, he came from Nairobi and he saw in Nairobi some women who were driving big cars. And surprisingly, those women were uncircumcised. And so he was actually telling us about the use of a car, that a car is used to carry you from point A to point B. It carries your luggage, so you can reach quickly. So I'm in class 4, this teacher is telling me stories about a place called Nairobi, or about something called a vehicle, about women driving cars who are uncircumcised. Then I told myself, this carrying salt lick all the time, the work of a girl child, carrying salt lick from the valley to the highlands. So there's something that can carry instead of my back. I want that thing, that's a car. Then I said, how do you get this car? The teacher said, those who were driving those cars were uncircumcised, and not a Mr. Kikutairiwa, so that I get that car. So that is how my story came. That's how it came for me to escape FGM. I appreciate that I share the same platform now with survivors, and even on my side that I did not undergo the cut. But I tell you, it's also very traumatizing because of the stigmatization that you go through when you're not cut. Because all the time, when you pass by, everybody will, you know that they'll say something after you have passed. So anyway, so that is how I came, and I felt lonely when everyone was talking that FGM is the norm. While I had gone to school and I've seen it is abnormal, it is not the norm. I actually started my argument by looking at the human rights of 1948, where WHO had talked about female genital mutilation being harmful. And CEDAW, Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. When I looked at that, then I said, but no one is talking about this thing. So I am right, and they are wrong. When they tell me that if I'm not cut ABCD, that's when I said, now I need a platform. And I thank God that there is now a platform. And this platform, the greatest cheerleader in our platform is the president himself, His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, who has said it has to stop. So apart from just giving us this information, the children after us will also know that, yes, there was a president and there is a president standing in for them. And that by saying no to FGM, you're not actually being a disobedient child, but you're following your rights as stipulated in our constitution and in the children's right. So thank you so much, Sadia, for bringing this, because we cannot all the time listen to stories, but this book will reach everywhere where those stories cannot reach. So I think it is now my honor and pleasure to launch this book, isn't it? So let's hold on, all the panelists, please stand up and hold copies of the book. So how do you want us to do it? Oh, I come there, okay. Oh, we're launching the books first.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are entering into the most important stage, the most interesting stage of the book launching activity. We are launching the book, A New Dawn for Children. A New Dawn for Children by Sadia Hussein. As they fetch the knife, here we can look at our copies. We can look at our copies.
A new dawn, because the information has taken place to their faces. Right in front of them. Their eyes.
Yeah, be a protector, not a perpetrator. A defend, not offend. Oh, you can see the beautiful cake. Can you see a new dawn for children? It's a new dawn for children. Round of applause. Yeah, the knife is coming. Maybe we can welcome Sadia to say something before the knife comes.
As we wait for the knife, you know, she only said her poem, so I want us to say what now that we have officially launched the book, what she feels, and as a child, how do you think this book can impact the life of children?
Thank you. Thank you for the Thank you once more. I'm really happy for the launching of this book. We have, in this book, we have seen a lot what Sadia have wrote in this book, like FGM, which is still happening in the community that we are coming from, and what I would like to say, for us to fight this FGM, it's good that we reach the teachers, their parents, and they are going to help us to fight against this. Thank you.
A round of applause. Yeah, a round of applause for Miss Alice Salaita. Yeah. Again, I'd like to go to Miss Sadia? Yeah, we're entering into, she's signing a few copies first as we wait for the knife.
Is it good afternoon? No, good morning. Earlier, I think I was ambushed, and this is not as a form of a comeback, but I wanted to point out in the course of the discussion, I think I do not remember the point at which Sadia or anybody talked about where the book can be found or where people can purchase the book. I think that would be an important information because we've been tweeting and Facebooking about it. It would be important to highlight that in our posts. Small stage fright. Now, something else I also wanted to share, and in a way also appreciate. Let me just stand. I think it's far better that way. My name is Galgalo Buyo. I'm from Marsabit County, and I was once, when I was in primary school, I was once, they call it children parliamentarians. And I think it was a program by World Vision. I do not know whether the lady who spoke to us earlier, they do have this program still. Because when we participated in the same program, we were required to speak to, I was in class 7, and we were required to speak to our friends in our classes about what we learned. And one of the things that we learned that day, or I think about 3-day training, it was about children's rights. And it was my first time at such a tender age to hear about children having rights. It was very revealing to me. And in a way, when I saw this book, it reminded me how important such information was if I had them that time. And in that respect, I appreciate the work by Sadia for taking the time and thinking about this important issue for children. So please share with people where people can purchase the books from, and so that it can be purchased. And even sometimes we run an organization also, and it would be good if we buy some of them and perhaps donate to the kids. So please share that information, and congratulations once again, Sadia. I do not see her, but I hope she hears me. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for your views. Yes, Sadia has kindly stepped out for a minute. So before she comes, yesterday we had an interview with her, and she told me something about the book, a preview. She told me that the book is not only aimed at ending FGM, it is aimed at ending violence in general, because FGM is a form of violence, because there are some people who force girls to undergo FGM, sodomism, mutilation, and other facts, other things that go on that harm children in general. This book, so me personally, I liked it because she told me that it is aimed at removing violence. It is aimed at creating an FGM-free Kenya, a free Kenya for children, giving children a platform to talk, giving children a platform to express their views, giving children a platform so that they can be able to get involved in the rules, in making of rules, in making of decisions that may affect them in the later future. So yeah, as for me, I'll welcome my fellow Umar. Maybe he has something to say.
Well, thank you so much, Brian. I guess, anyway. Today has been a good day. We were launching the book, A New Dawn for Children. As we have said over and over the session, is that the book mainly aims to outline the different bad cultural practices that harm our children. That is why today you see that the day is represented by children. Me and Brian, we are students at Jamhuri High School. We also have Alice, who's also a student. So basically it's about children who are going through challenges, but we don't know. There is no way we expect a child from a certain community, like maybe those communities which practice FGM, early child marriage, and you expect the child to even perform in school. Because if the child is maybe in school and he or she knows that after a few months, maybe I'll get married off, I'll undergo FGM, which is female genital mutilation, the child will be not at mental peace. He or she will be saying, I'm studying, but I'm still going to undergo bad cultural practices that will harm my life forever. If a child is in primary school and then she finishes class 8, and then immediately after that, the child is married off. Maybe in class 8 she got good marks and she was a good student, but she gets married off to someone, obviously. That means that all the 8 years or the 12 years of education from right to nursery school to class 8 has just gone to waste. So this is why we have people like Sadia, who have been given the power, and their aim is to empower children and to empower everyone to stop all these bad cultural practices. They are going to destroy our lives. And I do thank the president of this country for saying that he wants to end FGM by the year 2022. It's a really good, at least we can see that Kenya has a really bright future. We have our president who wants to end FGM. We have Sadia who wants to end FGM. We have a lot of organizations that have come here that are speaking for the rights of children, and mostly girls. And I'm very proud to say that Kenya is ranked 17 as the best girl-friendly countries. Let's clap for Kenya. Let's clap for Kenya. It's ranked 17. As I had said to my friend there that I am a journalist, I do news representation. And as I was representing that news, I was really proud of our country. If we are that good to the girl child, we feel that we want to empower the girl child since she had been left behind so much in our communities. The girl child has not been going to school, but now we thank God that the girl child today can stand in front at the podium and say something to everyone, and we can listen and say that that woman, that girl, that lady has a bright future. People like Sadia. Another beautiful round of applause for Sadia, please. Beautiful round of applause for Sadia. So right now we're going to go to the cake cutting ceremony, which is going to be led by my friend Brian. So let's go.
So hello again. Yeah, before we get to the cake cutting, a friend here had posed a question to Sadia. How can someone access and buy the book? Before we go, maybe you can answer that. She said you can get her, text her, DM her, get to her inbox. So finally, I want to invite Sadia. I also want to invite Honorable JB Kilimo, and I also want to invite Alice Salaita to lead us in this beautiful cake cutting ceremony. So we give them a round of applause as we start this ceremony, please.
Before we start, I know Sadia is too excited to tell us how she would love these books to be distributed. Before we can say you can get it in a bookshop, we are calling on all our partners, especially those who have access to forums where they talk about empowerment of the girl child. If they can buy, we know that there are people who give out sanitary towels to our girls. We are asking that you accompany this in those, they call them dignity kits. We have dignity kits so that they read and understand about themselves. It does describe everything about the girl child and the boy child also. So that is the first mode of distribution we are hoping it can be. Then, of course, then people with bookshops, they are welcome to buy and also sell in their bookshops. But first, we are hoping that we can distribute them freely. By those who are able to purchase from Sadia, then we can print more copies and put together with dignity kits, or just say from like your primary school. Like for me, I'll buy for the primary school next to my house, like that. Hi, thank you.
Yeah, to the next gentleman, I hope that has answered your question. Yeah, and let's not forget the boy child as well. Yeah, so Sadia, Ms. Jabir, we can start this. Ms. Sadia, Ms. Jabi, and Ms. Alice, kindly lead us in this beautiful ceremony. This should be the beginning of a new age, a beginning of a new dawn for our children. Not the boy child, not the girl child, the Kenyan child, maybe even the East African, the African child. But first of all, the Kenyan child. Yeah. Sanitation is important. So, Miss Alice, you've been given the honors to lead the ceremony by Miss Sadia and Miss JB.
Even as we know that there is the COVID-19 or coronavirus, you have to maintain healthy hygiene. That's why the cake cutting ceremony is going to be made very hygienically clean. So as from now, as we finish the beautiful cake cutting, we would have officially launched the new book,
A New Dawn for Children.
Yeah. And then after this, it will literally be a new dawn for our children. They will now know, because they will be distributed to schools. Our students will know that FGM should be ended. So let's start.
Yeah, kindly stand as we begin this ceremony. It's good to be active. Let's stand. Let's all stand kindly. Yes, a beginning of a new age.
And as we are standing, let's give it a round of applause as they are cutting the cake. A round of applause, and again and again and again. Alice is cutting the cake. The book is about children. So a round of applause for Alice for doing the process. Let's have a round of applause. Let's have a round of applause for Sadia Hussein for launching the book. A round of applause, everyone. A round of applause.
A round of applause for the new book.
Yeah.
Hopefully the end of FGM.
It's a new dawn.
Children of Kenya, arise and shine. This is a new age for children, a new age of empowerment.
The students are going to know now about their rights. We're going to distribute the books to each and every single school. So as the cake cutting is continuing, please let's keep continuing with a round of applause, please.
Arise and shine.
Indeed, it is a new dawn for our children. A round of applause for that.
Exactly. Indeed, it is.
This book is like a cake we are giving you in your schools, that as you grow up, you can still feel the taste of knowledge, of the need to be free from harm, the knowledge that your government does care about you. And that is why in the Republic of Kenya, we have the Children's Act. We have the anti-FGM and many more. A new dawn, just like this cake. I say this cake, this book is just like this cake. Those of us here will eat the cake, but you will get this cake in form of a book. Thank you.
Knowledge is power. Let's empower the child. Thank you, Ms. Sadia, for this book.
Thank you, everyone.
I just want to say that it's really a new dawn. I think it's summarized in the word itself, that when we live here, all of us in this room, and those of us who are following us online, let's take care of our boys and girls, and indeed, it shall be a new dawn, and we shall open a new chapter in finishing all forms of any discrimination or harmful practices in this country and in the world. Thank you.
A successful event it is. We have successfully launched a new dawn for children. Yes, that was those were the motives of coming today, to launch not only a new dawn for children as a book, but a new dawn, a new era for children as well. Again, a round of applause. A round of applause for Ms. Sadia, for a new dawn, for a new age, for our children, for our brothers, our sisters, and our friends.
So do we use ONC? We now to go?
Yes. So our author, she's our director. Yeah, she's our driver.
So now, let's later take the cake round and everyone to taste the book. This is, as Hon JB said, this book is coming in a form of, this cake is coming in a form of a book for the children. It's also for you all who are here. Kindly taste it.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for giving me solidarity support. I recognize Mama Fatuma Ibrahim, MP, East Africa Legislative Assembly. Thank you so much. She sat quietly and she has been following the discussion. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation. And thank you all, our chief guest, assistants, Madam First Lady. Thank you so much. Not every First Lady can actually sit here and speak about FGM. I salute you. I was hearing all the beautiful words you are giving me. But allow me to say that you have done even much more. Because for a first lady to actually stand and say something about FGM is a very big achievement for all of us. Thank you so much. I'm honored to have you here. Ambassador Christian, for also supporting the book and always supporting this cause. Everyone who is here, each one of you, thank you so much. Whether you have joined online or here physically, thank you so much. Let's make sure we have a space for our children. Now that they are there with us during this long holiday, let children enjoy the freedom they deserve. The ones they deserve, not the ones they don't deserve. When we are talking about the digital, they're here, service. When we are talking about the digital technology, now we have been following a lot of things via technology, right? Let our children use the positive technology to make sure they bring solutions to the existing challenges. They should not be further exploited. And that's why even this book talks about the digital child who can use technology for creativity, not for exploitation. So to the children, the two amazing MCs, I salute you. Joining Forces Alliance, and also our dearest Salaita, all the way from Kajiado. Thank you so much. It's indeed a new dawn for children. That's why I really wanted to give the space to the children themselves. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, and the Mutoto News for hosting us. You are up there, and you have really shown us how technology can be done. Thank you all. I salute you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
An honor, it truly was. It truly was an honor to serve you guys. A vote of thanks. I'm Brian King. I've been